Alright, shalom. Before I get started, I want to give all the praise and the glory and honor to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, and Kadash. And I also want to give the honors to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone, the Ruel, and they teach well through the spirit and the power of Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem. All by rocking to the elect, beginning with the 144,000, which are scattered abroad and in every place, redeeming the time and ready to be saved. Shalom. Another lesson, through the spirit. Pretty much don't have a title yet for this lesson. The topic that I want to get into is that, these scholars of the world, alright, these prominent pastors, like T.D. Jakes and Joel Osteen's, even going back to Martin Luther King, all right? Well, they had their run, they ran, and, they didn't get it right, all right? Their knowledge was not their knowledge that they imparted was not in harmony with the scriptures, okay? But you see, therefore, Yahweh Shai Shai has set up his true worshipers, because that's what he does. Alright? He sets up his true men to clean up the mess, so to speak. Alright? Matter of fact, what is that? Slacking. Bear with me for a second. Alright, this is it right here. This is Isaiah chapter 62, verse 10. It says, go through the gates. All right, and this is the go out to the streets. All right, go out to the streets. That's what the gates are. All right, it says go through the gates. Prepare ye the way of the people. You see, prepare ye the way of the people. All right, it says, cast up the highway. All right, the highway to Yahweh Shai, man. All right, that's what we're doing. We're preparing the way to the Lord. All right, it says, cast up the highway. Gather out the stones. All right, gather out the stones, meaning clean it up. All right, what are the stones? These stumbling blocks, which are these false philosophies, right? That has been presented by these false pastors. All right. So this is what we're here to do: clean up the mess, clean up the way, straighten it out. All right. So once again, it says, gather out the stones. Lift up a standard for the people. Yeah, teach the people the truth. All right. So these pastors, these false pastors, had their run and they didn't get it right. Right. So therefore, they have Basham Shai sent forth his true prophets. All right, to bring out the true message. All right, that has been hidden. All right, and that has been defiled by these false pastors, man. All right. Let me see. Hold on, Slack here. All right, this is Ezekiel chapter 3, and I start at 10. The point is in 11. So moreover, he said unto me, Son of man, all my words that I shall speak unto thee, receive in thine heart, and hear with thine ears. All right? Let me read that again. Moreover, he said unto me, Son of man, all my words that I shall speak unto thee, receive in thine heart, and hear with thine ears. Right? And go, get thee to them of the captivity. All right? Which we're in captivity. All right, we are in captivity to this day. All right, it said, "Go and get thee to them of the captivity." Who is that? It says it right here, unto the children of thy people, Israelites. All right, it says, and speak unto them, and tell them, thus said the Lord power. Alright? And tell them, let me read that again. And tell them, thus said the Lord power. Yeah, this is what the scripture said. This is what the Lord said. Alright? You know, we here to reprove and correct. That's what we're here to do. Because the Bible has been, you know, misread and misinterpreted. All right, so this is what we're here to do. We're here to show you, no, this is what the scriptures say. All right, not what you heard, not what you've been taught. All right, we're here to show those that have been indoctrinated the full truth, the full understanding of these scriptures, man, and to move so that and to remove these phonies out of the way. All right, that's why the true men of the Lord are on the scene. All right. So once again, it says, "And go." It says, "And go, get thee to them under captivity, unto the children of thy people, and speak unto them, and tell them, thus saith the Lord of power." Right, because like I said, you have these phonies, these false pastors come with the wrong information, with the wrong doctrine. All right? It says, whether they will hear or whether they will forbear. All right? You see? Because you're going to have some that's not going to get it for the most part, but then you're going to have some that are going to get it and receive it. See? So, this is what the Lord said, man. You know? That you know, not every man, all right, that opens up the Bible, okay, and calls himself a teacher is truly sent. All right? Because the scripture plainly says, what is that in the Apocrypha? 2nd Ezra, chapter 8, we get at the last verse. He said, "This have I not." Matter of fact, let me see. So I don't want to butcher it, all right? It says right here, 2nd Ezra chapter 8, verse 62. It said, "These things," which is these scriptures, "these things have I not showed unto all men." All right? Man. All right? "These things have I not showed unto all men, but unto thee, and a few like thee." You see? So, only, hey, what is that? Many are called, but few are chosen, right? So, only a few will come with the correct message. Not everybody in the whole world that calls himself, picks up the Bible, is a man of the Lord, a man of God. All right? No, that's not how it works. All right? All right? And we're here to prove that. All right? Let's get 1 Corinthians chapter 1, verse 1, chapter 1, 1 Corinthians chapter 1, verse 26. "For ye see your calling, brethren, how that not many wise men after the flesh, not many mighty, not many noble are called." All right? So, hey, the Lord is not dealing with these high and mighty, these prominent men that call themselves men of God. All right? We're reading it right here. Matter of fact, let me get another precept. Okay? I believe it's in Colossians. Lock here. Bear with me. This is in Colossians. I may be wrong. Okay, it's in Slacky. It's in 1 Timothy, chapter 6, verse. Let's start at verse 4. He said, "He is proud, knowing nothing, but doting about questions and strifes of words, whereof cometh envy, strife, railing, evil summarisings, perverse disputing of men of corrupt minds, and destitute of the truth." And there you go. I'm giving you examples. All right, destitute of the truth. They have they completely deprived of the truth, man. All right. It says, "and destitute of the truth, supposing that gain is godliness." Supposing that gain is godliness, right? You know. You got a lot of these prominent pastors. They hey, that's why they, you know, like T.D. Jakes, he was known to have ATM in his mega church. All right, you know, they become rich. The scripture tell you, what did Yahushua say? That what's that? Matthew 24. He said, "Many false prophets shall rise." All right, many false prophets shall rise. All right, they get great gain, great riches. They become wealthy. They become, you know, exalted. You know, through riches gained, merchandise. So, proving that the Lord is not dealing with them, man. The true men of the Lord, we're known as the poor. All right, we're known as the poor, not the rich, but the poor and the needy. Okay? It says, let me read that again. Supposing that gain is godliness. Yeah. Then look what it says. From such withdraw thyself. All right? From such withdraw thyself. All right? Because the Lord is not dealing with them. All right? Then it says, but godliness with contentment is great gain. That's right. So let's go back to 1 Corinthians chapter 1. He said, for you see your calling, brethren, how that not many wise men, or after the flesh, not many mighty, not many noble are called. All right? It said, but God hath chosen the foolish things of the world. All right? But God hath chosen the foolish things of the world to confound the wise. All right? Who are the wise? You know, like these scholars of the world. Okay? And we're known to the world as foolish. Okay? I'll give you a good example, because we go out there on the highways and the hedges, with our garments on, garments of sackcloth on. All right. You see, we're foolish to the world. So once again, but God have chosen the foolish things of the world to confound the wise. All right, now we're on the scene to confound the wise, which is these scholars, these guys with these high degrees. All right, college, these different degrees, man, that seem to the world as highly sophisticated. All right. But that's really foolishness, man. Like it says in the scripture, the wisdom of this world is folly unto the Most High. All right. He said, but God have chosen the foolish things of the world to confound the wise, and God have chosen the weak things of the world to confound the things which are mighty. All right. So we're here to bring down, all right, and destroy, these prominent God, these prominent men. All right, and that starts with Esau too. All right. Because they've destroyed our people with their philosophies, man. Okay? With that Christianity dogma. Alright? And we're here to destroy that. See, so yeah, we got it in these prominent men in the world. They don't have it, man. All right. So let me get this right here in the book of Daniel, chapter 5. This is the book of Daniel, chapter 5, verse 5, verse. I started. Verse 5. It says, "In the same hour came forth fingers of a man's hand." Well, before I read this, this was an account where the king Belshazzar, right, was having a. Well, you know what? I started from one. It says, Belshazzar, the king, which is the king of Babylon, made a great feast to 1,000 of his lords, and drank wine before the 1,000. Belshazzar, whilst he tasted the wine, commanded to bring the golden and the silver vessels which his father Nebuchadnezzar had taken out of the temple which was in Jerusalem. See that? That the king and his princes, his wives, and his concubines might drink therein. Alright? it says, then they brought the golden vessels that were taken out of the temple of the house of the Most High, which was at Jerusalem. And the king and his princes, his wives, and his concubines drank in them. And they drank wine and praised the gods of gold and of silver, of brass, of iron, of wood, and of stone. Alright? And that's why this place is also called Babylon in the scriptures. Because they're doing the same thing today. They praise the God, they praise silver, gold, stone, brass, and wood. Alright? So once again, it said they drink wine and praise the gods of gold and of silver, of brass, of iron, of wood, and of stone. It says, in the same hour came forth fingers of a man's hand, and wrote over against the candlestick upon the plaster of the wall of the king's palace. And the king saw the part of the hand that wrote. Then the king's countenance was changed, and his thoughts troubled him, so that the joints of his loins were loosed. And his knees smote one against another. Damn. The king cried aloud to bring in the astrologers, the Chaldeans, and the soothsayers. It says, and the king spake and said to the wise men of Babylon, whosoever shall read this writing and show me the interpretation thereof shall be clothed with scarlet and have a chain of gold about his neck, and shall be in third ruler of the kingdom. Then came in all the king's wise men. Alright? But they could not read the writing. Right? Just like I read in what's the Isaiah the 29th chapter. Right? This book they is sealed unto them. You know, they cannot read, man, they cannot understand what is written in this book. Alright? So once again it says, but they cannot read the writing, nor make known to the king the interpretation thereof. You see? Then was King Belshazzar greatly troubled, and his countenance was changed in him, and his lords were stoned. Now the queen, by reason of the words of the king and his lords, came into the banquet house. And the queen spake and said, O king, live forever. Let not thy thoughts trouble thee, nor let thy countenance be changed. There is a man in thy kingdom, in whom is the spirit of the holy gods. Alright, and this man is talking about Daniel. Alright, which we're going to find out. It said, there is a man in thy kingdom, in whom is the spirit of the holy gods. Alright? And this gods is with the lowercase g. And it's talking about the angels. Alright? That's who the gods are, the angels. Alright? It says, in whom is the spirit of the holy gods. Woo. And in the days of thy father, light. And in the days of thy father, light and understanding and wisdom, like the wisdom of the gods. Right? Why is it like the wisdom of the gods? Because that's where the understanding, the wisdom comes from. The angels, man. Alright? He said, like the wisdom of the gods. was found in him, which is Daniel. All right. It says, whom the king Nebuchadnezzar, thy father, the king, I say, thy father made master of the magicians, astrologers, Chaldeans, and soothsayers. You see? For as much as an excellent spirit and knowledge and understanding, interpreting of dreams, and showing of hard sentences. All right? Because it's hard because the majority of the people can't get it. All right? What is that in Psalms chapter 60 verse 3? Thou hast showed thy people hard things. All right? All right? So it says, in showing of hard sentences and dissolving of doubts were found in the same Daniel, whom the king named Belshazzar, whom the king named Belshazzar. It says, now let Daniel be called. All right, now let Daniel be called, and he will show the interpretation. You see? And he will show the interpretation. All right? So, no matter how many scholars, no matter how many wise men you get, all right, or show, it's like twist the tongue. It doesn't matter how many wise men of the world you get to break down these scriptures, they're not going to get it. All right? And we represent Daniel. We come in a lot of Daniel. He came and confounded the astrologers, the astrologers and the Chaldeans, the soothsayers. Okay? He did the same thing when Nebuchadnezzar was king. The wise men could not break down the dream, or should I say nightmare, that Nebuchadnezzar had. But Nebuchadnezzar found that Daniel could. All right? Daniel was a prophet. All right? So there's no new thing under the sun, like the scriptures say. So yeah, Lord Williams edifying. Until the next time, I say, Yahweh Shemal Shah Bashum Kakadash Brakathum. Wa Abba Babal. Shalom.